Good day, good evening, good night. Greetings. My name is Thandisizwe Chimurenga, and you're listening to Rootwork on KPFK Radio, 90.7 FM in Los Angeles, 98.7 FM Santa Barbara, 93.7 FM San Diego, 99.5 FM Ridgecrest, China Lake, and streaming all over the world at kpfk.org. It has been a while since I talked to y'all. If you're joining us from YouTube on the Black Liberation Media platform or on my own Rootwork channel, welcome, greetings, come on in. I think I talked to y'all last week, didn't I? Or maybe it was the week before. I don't really remember anymore. But at any rate, tonight, we're going to be talking about media literacy and how to have conversations in kindness as a way to beat back media misinformation and deliberate disinformation. And we're going to get a glimpse of the reality of life for youths in LA's criminal justice system. It's also fall fund drive time here at KPFK. So please give us a call at 818-985-5735, 818-985-KPFK, or go on over to kpfk.org and make a secure online pledge to help keep independent media alive, fearless, solvent here in Southern California. 818-985-5735, 818-985-KPFK, or kpfk.org. Pledge today, become a member today, and join us as we continue more than half a century of afflicting the comfortable and comforting the afflicted. 818-985-5735, 818-985-KPFK, or kpfk.org. We usually do news headlines at this point, but because it's so late, we're going to skip that and just go right into the guests for this evening. 818-985-5735, 818-985-KPFK, or kpfk.org. Make that secure online pledge and join us. We've got an election happening in less than 1 month from now, and claims and counterclaims, truth and lies are getting mixed together, lost, and deliberately buried. How do we combat this? One way is by equipping young people and not so young people with the tools needed to critically assess the information they are encountering. My first guests with Media Done Responsibly have made that their mission. In studio with me now are, I don't have your last name, Anais.
Maceda.
Anais Maceda,
Yes.
Communications Director, and Chanel Curry, Founder and Executive Director of Media Done Responsibly. Thank you all so much for being on the show.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Now, as you know, Chanel, in the past, whenever I speak with you, I tell people about how I remember it was Mother's Day radio,
Exactly.
how you all began
Yes.
about talking about 24 hours of no disrespect of Black women on the radio. And of course, that's still part of your core work, no disrespect of Black women, but you have evolved into a media literacy powerhouse, if you will, a media literacy hub. So you've gone to Media Done Responsibly. Tell us, what does Media Done Responsibly do?
Yes. Thank you so much, Thandi. First off, it's always a joy and a pleasure to have a conversation with you. And like you said, you've been with us since the begin, right?
Well, I didn't want to brag.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Right, exactly. We, like you said, we were Mother's Day Radio, and we were an advocacy campaign at that point in time, really advocating for Black women and women of color who were being misrepresented, disrespected, filled with media filled with misogynoir is what we were really addressing at that point in time. And we were focused on youth, young people, understanding what you see in this music video is not necessarily who you are, and it even though it is the only way you may see yourself represented in the media. And so it was our young people who said, we need more of this. We need to have mentors come and talk to us, because how do we have this conversation with our peers without feeling like, what do you mean? How are we going to drag our own music? How are we going to talk about the people who look like us in the media? They finally got there. We finally have a voice, even if that voice is misrepresenting us. And so we started a peer mentorship program within the universities here in Southern California, and we expanded it. Young people said, we want to talk about it all, not just the music. We want to talk about the TV, the film, and then along comes social media, right? And back in the day, we were just looking at MySpace, right? There was no Facebook. There was no.
You dating us now, don't you?
I know, right? A little bit. Okay, we'll cut that out. Right, reel it in a little bit. But what we have since done is shifted our focus. Our advocacy is around digital well-being and understanding that all of the messages in the media that are misrepresenting us, and us is an expanded us really now at this point in time, looking at the harms that are done in the media with disinformation campaigns, misinformation campaigns, even though they have happened frequently in the past in traditional media settings and platforms, the introduction of the internet, and especially now with AI and algorithms, has accelerated it. And so the impacts of that are accelerated. It's important, the work that we do is that we help young people of all ages to be able to decipher and understand all of the media messages that are coming at them at any given point in time. And so we're not just advocacy, we're media literacy, and we're also media production, because media is no longer just a kind of one-way communication now. We're communicating in all ways. We're talking back, right? We pick up a camera, a phone, and whatnot, and we're having a mutual engagement. Everybody's sharing all kinds of opinions. I talk to my journalism students now about how there are certain ethics that you're supposed to adhere to in journalism, but when everyone thinks they're a journalist, all of those ethics go out of the window, right? What's real, what's true, what's, supposed to be said. Oh no, I just jumped into a fire pit. That's a whole other conversation. Yeah. From this journalist right here. So that's a whole other conversation. But essentially the work that we do is to provide media literacy, media production, and media justice advocacy resources and information to young people. Really, it's been around LA County, but now it is expanded nationwide, and we're getting some global in there as well. So very excited about that.
Wonderful. Anais, how did you come to be a part of Media Done Responsibly?
So I was actually an undergrad student at Mount St. Mary's University back in the day. And it was part of a leadership program. I was part of a leadership program, and it was an assignment where we had to work with an outside organization. And we had this whole list of organizations to choose from. We got into groups, and immediately on the list, I was like, what is this? Media Done Responsibly. I'm like, that is the one, no doubt. Like everything else, it was just like tunnel vision, like to Media Done Responsibly. And so we had to set up an interview with the founder and CEO, Chanel Curry. And literally that very first conversation with her, like it was just vibrant. It was connective. It was inspiring. I'm like, this is who I want to work with. And little did I know then that this would be the long-term relationship that has transformed my life. And I was one of those students. I was one of those youth that was deeply impacted by the misuse of media. I mean, the things that I've done, the things that I've seen when it comes to like cyberbullying, I was cyberbullied. I was the cyberbully, just sharing information that doesn't need to be shared on the internet. And just the misrepresentation and the impact that had on my identity and my growth and development. And then here comes Media Done Responsibly that literally not just transformed my way of thinking, but also empowered and gave me the platform to share my voice. So I am literally a media done responsibly success story. I am the testimony that the programs that we use and that we implement is necessary, it's needed, and it works. And not only have I been shaped and impacted by media done responsibly, but I have also conducted tons of workshops with youth and have seen the transformation that I went through to so many other youth. So this program is just, it's my life, it's my foundation, it's my life purpose.
All right then. All right. I would call that a testimony. I don't know about y'all.
Okay.
Now here's the thing. We're in an election year. Not that that really matters, but we're in an election year. When you were talking earlier about disinformation, of course, my mind automatically went to Donald Trump. But here's the thing. You currently have a program called Cafe Conversations, where you're dealing with the issue of kindness in communication, kindness and connection. So here's the thing. This interview is having as the second Cafe Conversation has already taken place. You've got a few more scheduled, a couple of more upcoming. I was sitting in the conversation on Sunday, listening to you all. This is why I am doing this right now today. Y'all just work with me, bear with me.
Okay.
I was sitting in your conversation on Sunday. I got a phone call from a sister friend I had been playing phone tag with. I called her to see, you called me, what's going on? She called me to see if I had gotten the information she sent me on TikTok, stating that Tupac was alive, that he was married to Left Eye of TLC, and that a current rapper is actually Tupac masquerading. This current rapper is actually Tupac. He's masquerading as someone else. Before we can get to Donald Trump and his menagerie of lies and distortions, these are the kind of conversations my regular folks are having.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And this is in the middle of your seminar. I was like, did God know I would be sitting here today? Why is this happening? This is why this is happening. Media literacy, disinformation, misinformation.
Yeah.
The internet is a monster. It's a megalith. I want to ask you the obvious question. How do we fight it? Tell us about this program now, Cafe Conversations.
Okay.
So I'll gotta come down.
Take a breath and wow. There is so much of that. I'm just stuck on Tupac and Left Eye right now. But they're
both dead.
I know. Yeah. I
not currently married.
I know. Nor were they ever. So yeah.
No.
Okay.
She believes this.
Okay,
go ahead.
Well, the time is now. The reason that we are doing the Kindness in Connection campaign is twofold. One, to dismantle disinformation and polarization, especially during this election cycle, and hate speech online. There is, and that's one. The second is to return to our humanity, and might I add our common sense as well, but really to our humanity and connection with one another. There is so much misinformation and disinformation proliferating these internet streets that people are literally confused.
Yeah.
Part of what you even missed in the conversation that we had on Sunday was there was a person there who was not aware of who the president is right now. And so, and this is because of disengagement. This is because of so much information that is, I hate to even call it information, but information that has deliberately been put out is disinformation. Misinformation is just, I just don't know no better, but I'm putting out wrong information. Disinformation is, I know better and I'm putting it out, but I can say, whoops, oh, I didn't mean to say that, but it's out there now. And once it's out there, it runs rampant. And so
it has a life of its own. Yeah.
It has a life of its own. And we're asking people to use the acronym THINK. Each letter of that acronym relates to something that we need to do when we see something online and when we say something online. First, honey, think, okay? Is it true? Let's do a little fact checking here, all right?
Yeah.
Where else are you hearing anything about Tupac and Left Eye being alive and being married and, you know, being under some other rapper's name, right? Masquerading as another rapper or whatever, however that goes.
Married with children.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what legitimate sources are you finding this information from? And if you cannot go to multiple sources and see this information, it is likely false information. And then I know Anais has a list of sources that you can check to, you know, just to verify stuff that is false. So that's one. But we're not just stopping at fact checking, right? Like that's the basis and the foundation. The T in think is to find out, is it true? The second is this helpful? What does that information do for any of us? I mean, really now, is this helpful? What does this help? What does this support? So is the information that you're looking at and that you're seeing, is it helpful in any way? The I is, does it inspire? One thing that I don't think that people understand about the media, besides it being a money-making tool, which is the first foundation of media that we have to understand, that everything from an algorithm to every content piece that's being put out is to generate money, okay? But it does that by doing three things. It causes us to think a certain way, it causes us to feel and emote a certain way, and it causes us to take action. And anyone who thinks, oh, well, media is, you know, I'm not a role model and media is not moving me to act. No one would put billions of dollars on an ad that's going to play at the Super Bowl and put money into the music behind it. The ad would put money into actors, all of the things that have to go into that, if it did not move people to take some sort of action that they want them to take. If it did not pull on people's emotions, get them to think about, oh yeah, oh, I want to be with my family and drinking this and, you know, whatever it might be. So understand that media's goal is to inspire some sort of action, some sort of thought, some sort of feeling. But does it inspire action towards our highest good is the question. How is this media that you're either looking at or that you are about to put out, how is it moving people to think, feel, and act in ways that are positive and supportive? And then, and is it necessary? Like, really, is it necessary? Mama said it might be true, but is this the time to say it? Is this what needs to be said in this particular space? And some of the most necessary information is that information that is dispelling disinformation. So does it help to dispel disinformation? Then yes, we need to put it out there. Does this Rootwork conversation need to happen? Absolutely, it needs to happen. Okay. And then finally, is it kind? And in that question, you know, we're looking, does it support the humanity of the people, whether we agree with them or not, right? It might be, God bless you, you know, but that you think that. But I'm still going to come at you with humanity and with civility. I'm going to come to you in a way that maintains your dignity and my own. And so that is the points that we're looking at. We're asking people to think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Does it inspire? Is it necessary? And is it kind?
I'm speaking with Anais Maceda.
Maceda.
Maceda. I'm speaking with Anais Maceda and Chanel Curry of Media Done Responsibly. We're talking about media literacy and their latest project, Cafe Conversations, regarding conversations in kindness, something that I sometimes lack, around misinformation and disinformation, especially in an election year. And you got J.D. Vance and Donald Trump running around here, which definitely represent a threat. They're not the threat, it's the people behind them. And I'm like, how are we going to get to them if you out here worried about Tupac, thinking he faked his own death so that he wouldn't go to jail? But if he's letting you know now he's alive, ain't he going to still go to jail? This has consumed too much of my time. Alice, can you please share with our audience some of those resources for fact checking and debunking disinformation and misinformation?
Yes, absolutely. So am I able to present on here?
Probably not. I'm what my friends at Black Liberation Media call tech divergent. I
like it.
I decided to embrace that. Yeah, so we probably won't be able to share. But if you can read a couple of the URLs and who the people are, who the organizations are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so we actually have a post on our Instagram at Media Done Responsibly, and it is representative of the T. Is it true? Right. So when you want to fact check, you want to be able to verify, review people's profiles. Right. These are certain steps that we can take. And then also there are some links that we can go to. Let's see. So Witness.org and even Media Justice are other organizations that are posting different tips and ways that we can navigate and how to verify different profiles, and also be able to check and see, like, how can you even look at a certain image, right, or a video even, and see if it's AI generated or if it's fake, right? Obviously, what you talk about with Tupac and right, that is clearly AI generated, right? And this is something that's being spread, right? So these are the steps that we can take, to be able to look and examine at just what we're looking at on the media and being able to see, like, look at the quality of the photos or the videos that you're looking at, right? Look at the profile accounts, right? Check their following, right? Are they verified sources? And you can even see, like, in the comment sections under their posts, right? Like, these are the things that we have to look out for. And we already do that anyway, right? Like, when you're looking at a post, you're already kind of going through, or at least I know I do that, right? These are the steps that we have to take to be able to examine and look at, the quality and the truthness, right? The truth and the reality and the factualness of the actual information that we're looking at. So those are some steps that we can take. And there's also, like I said, Media Justice, PEN America, Witness.org that are offering different tips as well to be able to look at and examine some of the media images and the media content that we're consuming on a day-to-day. There's also websites as well. Let's see, there's librarywitness.org, visual verification tips that you can look at. And there's like an actual website where you can go and plug in information to see yourself. So there's like already apps and websites generated for this that you can look up on Google and like plug in the information that you're looking at of like, hey, and it'll help you like go through all of the different media output that's out there to be able to look at and examine, where this come from, the source, how many different sources posted this information, right? To really get you confident and in that space of knowing of like, all right, this is verified, this is true, right? So those are some of the steps that we have to take, right? And take responsibility of, like you said media is a monster, but it's just a response of, how we're also using and engaging with it, right? So we have to take responsibility to be able to take those steps and navigate it from an empowered space, right? And not just take everything for what it is, be able to question, be able to think, just think about what you're looking at, right? That part.
Yeah. Something that's very interesting, and thank you so much for that, Anais. Something that is very interesting that people may not be aware of is that platforms like Instagram and Facebook, et cetera, the different social media platforms do not consider themselves media outlets in terms of the way that we think of media. They are tech companies. And because of that, they don't have the same sort of regulations that other places might have. So if you think of a traditional news source, you might think of whether it be somebody that you follow on CNN or Fox or whomever you follow, the baseline that in terms of journalism is that there is some sort of fact checking that is supposed to occur. There's some sort of ethics, whether or not it's being followed or not is one thing, but there's some sort of ethics that has to happen. But for a tech company, they do not have any sort of accountability to the information that is being put on their platform. And so people have had to fight to make sure that they are doing some level of verifying and checking and pulling off things like hate speech, things that could actually incite people to riots. But that is still happening. There's still bots that are putting out information. There's still people, even from other countries, who are pretending that they are here and are impacting the elections that are happening here. And so, it's important for us to realize the reason that there's so much confusing information out is because it's deliberately being put out. They say whoever controls the mind controls the world. And, your mind is essentially being controlled by all of this misinformation, even if it's to put you in a place of confusion, even if it is to align you with what you think might be possible, right? So there's something called what we would look at as our media bubbles, that we are in our filter bubbles. An algorithm will send you down a slope of messages and videos and different types of content that align with what you already believe. And it will hit you with other folk who believe that and even more extravagant things than you might believe. And so you end up going down this winding path that someone else sitting right next to you might never have access to.
Right.
Okay? They may see that.
I'm in an algorithm bubble right now.
Yeah.
I dragged a sister friend in Detroit into it. Now she done dragged somebody else. I can't tell you what it's about because it's embarrassing. It's not porn though.
Okay.
It's not porn.
As long as we clarified that. No judgment though. No judgment.
A little bit of judgment, but
okay, a little bit.
At any rate, we're beginning to run out of time.
Okay.
Tell our audience in the minutes we have left, what is Cafe Conversations in terms of how many more do you have left? What are the topics?
Okay, Anais, I'll hand this to you.
Yeah, so our MDR Kindness and Connection Cafe Conversations, we have 2 upcoming. We actually have one this Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m., which is going to be in person and online. And that's going to be about misinformation and fake news, right? So this is where we're going to really delve into, right, AI, bots, dis and misinformation, right? So that's that's going to be at the heart of that conversation. And then our final conversation, which will be October 27th, Sunday, is going to be about our media justice advocacy. So it's going to bring everything together. It's like, now that we've given you all the facts, all the information, right? What do we do about it, right? And how can we actually push ourselves forward? And what actions, what steps can we take? We're going to look at a history of a lot of media justice advocates throughout history and media, and then also take that as inspiration for us to utilize what we have now and put into programs and campaigns and things that we can do and come up. Literally, it's going to be like a thinking session, right? It's going to be a think session. Okay. So we're going to come together, put our minds together, put our resources and our gifts together to come up with more solutions on how we can take this kindness and connection beyond just the election season, right? And do this as an everyday practice where it's just interwoven into our very being, right?
Now, the one coming up Saturday, you said it's going to be online and in person. Where?
Yes. So you can join online via AirMeet. You can register through our website at mediadonresponsibly.org. You can also click the link in our Instagram bio as well at Media Done Responsibly. And then in person, it's going to be in connection with a presentation we're going to be doing with Penn America. And that is... Actually, I'm not sure where that is going to be located. I think that's going to be in the San Fernando Valley somewhere. We haven't got the details yet, but
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but you'll be live streamed into that. Yes. If you go into the session. Yeah.
Okay, and let our audience know how they can follow along after the cafe conversations have quote unquote ended. How they can follow along and be a part of the work of Media Done Responsibly. How can they reach you? How can they follow you?
Yeah, so we are really looking for partners, especially if you have any involvement with youth. If you're a teacher, an educator, if you are working with a nonprofit organization that works with young people. So we have, you can email us at Chanel@mediadonresponsibly.org. Anais, ANAIS, at mediadonresponsibly.org, and we will connect you with some of our curriculum and training programs so that you can take this further in your classroom. And then everyone can go to our website, mediadonresponsibly.org, to follow us. Click on the Kindness in Connection campaign banner. All of the links that Anais presented will be there. Also, our Instagram at Media Done Responsibly. You can find us there. From the website, you should be able to join us and follow along on our newsletter as well. So we'll give you all of the up and coming information that is happening there. But we want this to be something that's more than within the organization. We're offering this to the community. Yeah. Some of the resources that we're providing are generally resources that are paid, but we're wanting to take some of the things that a student might learn in a college course and provide it to the public at large, because everybody's not going to walk into a college classroom. They're just not. And this is information that we all need to have. And so we're wanting to make it accessible for everyone. Yes. And so follow along on our newsletter. You'll get access to those resources as well as on our website.
And for those who want to partner with you, you said Chanel at mediadonresponsibly.org. That's yes. SHAUNELLE.
Right. And also Anais, her name's a little bit shorter, ANAIS. Just ANAIS at mediadonresponsibly.org. And either one of us, and we will connect you and really listen and see what the need is at your school, what kind of programs you already offer, and how we can integrate support. We provide college mentors for young people, which I think is really key. Peer and near peer mentorship relationships have been so positive. We've worked with over 20,000 young people throughout LA County in the past several years. And that is growing. Yeah.
Okay. Anais Maceda, Chanel Curry of Media Done Responsibly. Thank you so much for being on Rootwork today.
Thank you so much. We love you, Thandisizwe. Thank you so much.
I love you guys more.
Oh, thank you.
All right, now y'all take care.
You as well.
Help us, y'all. Help us. Help us. We need your help to keep afflicting the comfortable and comforting the afflicted. Won't you join us? 818-985-5735, 818-985-KPFK, or kpfk.org. Make a secure pledge to this station and help keep us on the air. Just as we here at KPFK have covered the efforts to hold sheriffs and police accountable, to stop LAPD spying, to close the Men's Central Jail, to allocate our tax dollars to care instead of cages, we also have to confront the realities of the juvenile justice system here in Los Angeles County. The Youth Justice Coalition is one entity that has been doing exactly that for about 20 years now. And we're speaking with them tonight, to check in with them about their work. Joining me in studio now is Emily Zamora, an organizer with the Youth Justice Coalition. Thank you so much, Emily, for being on Rootwork today.
No problem. Thank you so much for having us on.
Now, you are an organizer and also a policy associate.
Yes, I just started doing policy associate work about 3 months ago or so, so I'm very new into the space, but I've been really enjoying it so far, just getting to learn more about what's going on with probation, what's going on at the county and state level, and how that's impacting our youth justice work.
So what is the Youth Justice Coalition?
The Youth Justice Coalition is an organization that is dedicated to fighting for the liberation of women, men, everybody that has been impacted by the system of incarceration. We really do focus in on juvenile justice. So inside of our organization, we have I don't know if folks are familiar, but actually YJC is located inside of Chuco's, which is a space that used to be Kenyan courthouse. So that was where juveniles would actually get some of the highest sentences for decades, right? And so Youth Justice Coalition.
This is the facility on Central Avenue.
Yes, so this is the new facility on Central. Before we were in Central, we were actually in Inglewood, and we got displaced from there because of the metro line that was going to be built. They actually thought that our space would be better equipped to be an empty parking lot instead of an organization that comes and helps our folks out. So we were able to fight and shut down what was once Kenyan court juvenile. And so we fought for that in 2013. And once we lost our space in Inglewood, we went back to the county and fought for this space to then be turned into what it is now, which is home for Free LA High School for our students who have been pushed out of regular school. So we give them an alternative. And then we also have a youth center that we run for our youth who are in the community that just need a space to be at, want to get involved in politics, whatever the case might be.
Okay. Now, you were saying in terms of the work of the Youth Justice Coalition, I think I may have cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good. So we primarily focus on juvenile justice, but we really do prioritize just any folks, any families, any community members who have been impacted by the system. And that doesn't just have to be jail, but that could be immigration, that could be DCFS, that could be all these other forms of system impact that have touched us in one form or another, or have touched a beloved of one of us. Whatever the case might be, we fight for their justice and we fight to eliminate these systems, but also provide alternatives that are focused on community, that are focused on love, on care, on transformative justice, all of the things that we provide for our youth in home.
Okay. Now, as you know, this is an election year, nationally as well as locally. What are some of the programs or projects that Youth Justice Coalition is currently focused on?
So Youth Justice Coalition, we don't endorse any candidates, but we are definitely open to having open dialogue with anybody who's running for office or currently in office that wants to do work around youth justice. But what we are going to be doing is this next Saturday, October 26th, we're going to be having YJC and some of our partners are going to be hosting a haunted jailhouse, and that's going to be at Chuco's. So you can find us at 7625 South Central Ave, Los Angeles, California, 90001. And I'll repeat that address again at the end, but we're going to be located 7625 South Central Ave. Next Saturday.
Wait a minute. You're going to have a haunted jailhouse.
Haunted jailhouse, yeah.
Aren't the jails scary enough as it is? Why are you having a haunted jailhouse?
We're having a haunted jailhouse because our youth inside of these facilities, they experience Halloween every single day. People who are outside, we experience Halloween once a year. Our youth experience Halloween every single day, being
horror and terror every single day.
Every single day. And so we wanted to do this so folks can see what it's like for our youth to be in this every single day and why it is that we fight every single day to get them out.
So that's going to be at Chuco's on October 26th. From when until when? From
3 to 8 p.m. You could also follow us on Instagram, and we have all our information on there. That's at Youth Justice LA, no underscores, no nothing, just Youth Justice LA on Instagram.
Okay, well, can you give our audience an example of what those 5 hours are going to entail? Not everything, but some.
Definitely. So the haunted jailhouse is also going to be having a resource component to it. So we're going to be having free haircuts. We're going to have free food to keep our folks fed. We're going to have massage therapists there. So if you're feeling a little sore, whatever the case might be, come through, get a massage for free. We're going to have pumpkin carvings for the kids, face painting, resources from other community organizations that are going to be coming through. And we're just also going to be hosting an area that is going to be focused on helping youth or adults who are interested in graduating. We have a school on site, and we also do the 2-year program for anybody who wants to get their credentials. So there will be a section on that as well. But yeah, that's what we're going to be hosting for next Saturday, 3 to 8. So y'all come through.
But that doesn't sound haunted, though. That sounds more like therapy and care to take care of the trauma from the haunting. What is the trauma that you all have identified in these youth institutions? Ooh, don't give us all of it now. We ain't got no aftercare scheduled after this.
What haven't we identified? That's such a great point that you bring up, because we just recently learned, like literally yesterday, we got this breaking news that the BSCC, which is the board that gets to say whether or not a juvenile facility is deemed open or not, like whether it could stay open or not, they actually just released yesterday that the BSCC denied Los Padrinos from their corrective action plan. So they have deemed the facility unsuitable, and they have until December 12th to come back in compliance or be fully shut down. And I bring that up.
Well, I was going to say, so what makes a juvenile facility unsuitable?
I'll give you some numbers, because I have some numbers here for you. And the reason I preface with that is because we have been constantly fighting for over 20 years to shut down Los Padrinos. And every time we come a little bit close, all of these county institutions start blaming each other, start pointing fingers, and they never want to hold themselves accountable to what our youth inside are facing. So let's get into the numbers. What are youth inside facing? From January to June of this year, BSCC did an inspection on Los Padrinos, and they found that there were 800 use of force incidents, despite there only being 300 youth at Los Padrinos. That's almost three incidents of abuse per child.
Per child.
Per child.
Well, actually, before you continue, what is the age range of the youth in Los Padrinos?
So I'm not too familiar with the age range. I do know for sure that it's any youth who can come in there. I know that there's been some who are even like 10 years old, 11 years old, who have gone into probation. But the specifics around the age group, I'm not too familiar with. But I do know that they have a cap around, I believe, 25. So there's some youth who are 18 there's some youth who are 18 that might still be in there. And then afterwards, they will get either transferred out or they'll serve their time.
We're told that they're adults at age 18, but okay. So approximately 300 youth currently being held, and within a 6-month period, 800 use of force incidents, which translates into more than 2 per youth. Go on.
Yes, almost 3, 2.6 to be exact.
Wow.
Right, and 572 of those 800 were physical force incidents, and 228 were OC spray incidents.
Wow.
So that's how our youth inside are being treated. Beaten up by probation officers who are getting paid often for not even showing up to their jobs. And when they do show up, there's incidents of physical force, there's incidents of OC spray, all sort of stuff. There's even a $3 billion worth of potential claims that are alleging child sexual abuse inside of these facilities. So our youth aren't only being beaten, they aren't only being trapped in there, but they are being sexually abused on a day-to-day basis. And that's dollars that are going to fight that.
Is Los Padrinos co-ed? Ed is an interesting term. Are boys and girls, males and females, held at Los Padrinos?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Cut you off again. Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, those are some of the statistics about what's going on inside of Los Padrinos and just what's happening to our youth at large who are facing the juvenile justice system. And so that's why we really wanted to bring attention to this issue by hosting the Haunted Jailhouse. So we are kind of focusing on two things, right? So what you mentioned. So the first part being, providing those resources for our folks who have experienced trauma, whether that's inside of these facilities or somewhere else along the line. But two is to have the Haunted Jailhouse as a political piece to show folks what it is that our youth inside face, and to understand that reality of we're living on the outside and we have the ability to do something and to change and to come together and liberate our youth. People in the county level and at the state level have the power to free them, and they explicitly choose not to. They have the funds to give them resources to help with the trauma and to help with whatever it is that our youth need, and they don't touch that money. So someone has to do the work. Someone has to be speaking on what it is that our youth are going through, and someone has to, fight for that. And so that's what YJC does, and that's what we do with our partners.
I'm speaking with Emily Zamora. She's a youth organizer and a policy associate with the Youth Justice Coalition here in Los Angeles County, which fights for the rights of all our folks who've been impacted by the criminal justice system, but their focus is on juvenile justice. Emily, I'm sorry, I misspoke. In addition to the Haunted Jailhouse, what other projects or programs or events do you have coming up?
So our biggest event is actually going to be November 6th, which is going to be the largest action that YJC and some of our other partners, such as Students Deserve, Young Women's Freedom Center, so on and so forth. We're going to actually be hosting our biggest action of the year, November 6th, in front of the Board of Supervisors. That's on 500 West Temple Street. And we're going to be doing that I believe we're going to start at 10:30. So we're going to be having a press conference to just bring attention to what it is that our girls and gender expansive youth inside of these facilities are facing, and also speaking on what it is that our youth want to be represented in the budget for the county. So we just recently had an action at the Board of Supervisors, I believe last week, where our youth went over there and spoke to the Board of Supervisors, and we're telling them about what it is that they want, what it is that they need the money to go into to support them. And even then, the budget still gets approved with all of these numbers that are going more so towards funding probation instead of sheriffs. So with this new shift that we see with BSCC, we really want folks to bring attention to what's happening inside of these halls, what it is that our youth truly need this money to go into. And that's why we're hosting this action. So November 6th, 10:30, be there or be square, 500 West Temple Street. We're going to have over 200 people there.
Be there or be square?
Be there or be square, because we need our folks out.
So community partners, and you're expecting or hoping at least 200 people. Now, you're going to be rallying outside the Board of Supervisors, or you're going to be providing commentary testimony to the Board of Supervisors?
So we're going to be doing commentary outside. The reason that we're doing that is because every single time that we go inside of these facilities, and we go as often as we can with our youth and other partners, we go in and we speak on the issues that we have going on. We go in and we speak on what it is that our youth need, and we have them go themselves to speak on what they themselves need. I mean, they've told us time and time and again, we need housing, we need therapy, we need trauma response, we need all these sort of things, right? And so the board, they'll listen, but they don't really listen. So sometimes we have to hold our own stuff. Sometimes we have to do our own meetings, right? We have to have our own press conferences and speak on our own stuff, because they don't give us the time. They give us 1 minute to talk about all these issues. 1 minute isn't enough, and it's not justice to anybody.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely not enough time. Now, give us that date again.
November 6th, and that's going to be at 10:30 outside of the Board of Supervisors in downtown LA, so 500 West Temple Street.
And the haunted house is going to be
October 26th. That's going to be on 7625 South Central Ave, Los Angeles, California, 90001. And if you want more info Our ad is on Instagram, Youth Justice LA. No underscores.
That's 3 to 8 p.m. you said?
3 to 8 p.m.
3 to 8 p.m., 5 hours. That's a Saturday.
Yes.
Okay. And in addition to Instagram, if our audience members want to keep up with the work you're doing, follow along, join, etc., how can they do that?
Yeah, so there's actually a couple of ways. So our biggest one would definitely be hitting us up on social media, because that's where we put like our upcoming events. That's where we try to do the outreach for folks and let them know like what things we have coming up. But another way to get involved is just to go on our webpage. So that's youthjusticecoalition.com. And so that also has like a subscription area where you could put in your email. And so you'll get all the updates that we have going on. Okay,
youthjusticecoalition.com and at Youth Justice Coalition in social media.
So youthjusticela.org.
Youthjusticela.org. Okay.
Youthjusticela.org and Youth Justice LA Instagram.
Okay, my bad. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. That was on me too.
Emily Zamora, Youth Justice Coalition, housed in Chuco's Justice Center. Thank you so much for the work that you all are doing, and thank you for being on Rootwork today.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. (818-985-5735), 818-985 KPFK. Afflict the comfortable, comfort the afflicted. 818-985-5735, 818-985 KPFK. Go to the website at kpfk.org. Make a secure pledge to keep this institution on the air. Thank you to my guests, Chanel Curry and Anais Maceda of Media Done Responsibly. Thank you to Emily Zamora of the Youth Justice Coalition. Thank you to Gangsta Boogie, GB Gary Baca on the boards. Thank you to Zenzele Bell for checking in with me, making sure I'm good. And thank you to you for listening and for watching. Join us, become a member. Help us to keep afflicting the comfortable. Help us to comfort the afflicted. Make a secure pledge at 818-985-5735, 818-985 KPFK. Go to kpfk.org. Do it now, right now. Make that secure donation. Make that pledge. My name is Thandisizwe Chimurenga. I will catch you again next week. Stay safe and peace.